Welcome, everybody. It's Tony Chapman. If you've been following me on my podcast, Small Business Matters, presented by RBC, I spent the last 5 weeks of a 10-week series traveling across Canada to meet entrepreneurs, understand their dreams, their desires, the challenges they're facing now with COVID, and that resilience that we're finding that they'll need as we come out and make Canada strong. And small business is the heart of the Canadian economy, and it's our collective interest to keep it beating strong. Well, today I'm thrilled. The Honourable Mary Ng is joining me. She's the Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion, International Trade. Mary, thank you so much for joining me at the end of, I know, a very busy day, or probably in the middle of a very busy day.
Yeah, it is the middle, but it's great. And it's good to talk to you, Tony. And thank you for what you are doing. And you're sort of getting into the heart and spirit of those businesses across the country. I think you and I will have to try to do one of those road shows at some point when it's safe to do so, because I think it'd be fun to do.
I'd love to do it with you. So first of all, I'm absolutely delighted that they created this portfolio and made small business and put it at the center of attention. Because I know, first of all, you're one of the stars in the government. So to give you this, it signaled that they were serious. And you must have really enjoyed, even before COVID hit, must have been so rewarding to go across the country and seeing so many people, their personalities and the effort and the resilience that they put in their businesses.
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. I mean, and I know we're going to get back to those times again as well. But meeting business owners who have bootstrapped and just took their dream or their idea and just made something real that is the heart of our communities across the country, creating incredible jobs, building their business, but literally sort of building their families. I mean, out of that idea and that dream. It really is incredible. And having the international trade portfolio really meant I was able to also meet a whole lot of businesses whose growth is not only in Canada. You start in Canada and you grow, and they're growing into the international marketplace. So 98% of all our businesses in Canada are small businesses. Everyone knows a small business owner, if you're not a small business owner yourself. But do you often think of yourself as a small business owner as the economic engine of the country? Often not, because that's not how small business owners think of themselves. But that's what I tell small business owners across the country, because that's how important they are.
I always say their whispers become a roar. They don't have the big brand names as the multinationals, but as a force. And I agree with you in terms of the ingenuity and the fact that the sense of heart that comes out. When I meet people, every small business owner I'm talking to today isn't so much worried about their wealth. What they're talking about is, I want to keep my employees. They're my family. I don't only know their names and their partners' names, I know their kids' names. Yeah. And when you hear that, you realize how much heart is there. So I want to now shift the focus and talk a little bit about, first of all, to give you kudos. I think the government has stepped up, and we acted quickly, probably doing things in minutes that used to take months of policy and planning. What have you liked so far of what we've done, and where do you think we need to go next?
It is through listening to so many of our businesses across the country and understanding what they were going to need during this period, so that we can save as many businesses, save as many jobs, help them bridge through this period and manage through COVID-19. So what did they tell us? We need to keep our employees. If we are seeing revenue drop in our business, we're going to be very, very hard pressed to keep our employees. We may have to lay people off. We don't want that. We know that if businesses and if employers and their employees stay together, they have a much better chance when we get on that road to recovery, when it's safe to do so. So helping them with the 75% wage subsidy, that came directly from companies saying, listen, we don't want to lay people off, so help us there. The small business loan, it's $40,000, interest-free. $10,000 of that will be forgivable if you're able to pay it by the end of 2022. So that's 2.5 years away from now. And as of today, over 500,000 small businesses, 500,000 business owners have been approved. So this money is getting out there for businesses so that they can bridge through and manage the operating expenses that they have. And just helping them keep their costs low. I mean, doing something right away, like deferring the GST and HST and customs duties, That's going to help over 3 million businesses and individuals. And just to give you a frame of reference of what that is and how significant just that one measure is, it's equivalent to a $30 billion interest-free loan. So these are sort of significant, but also very individual measures. And I guess the last one is the commercial rent relief that we have also put out there. So everything that we have put out, it's speed. Let's not let perfect get the enemy of the good. Let's make sure the measures are out.
I want to now transition because we're starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to see things are opening up a bit. And as we look forward, a couple of things that concerns me is that we're conditioning consumers nowadays to buy through their phone, treat their phone like a vending machine online. And we know Amazon is got over half that business in the States and it's growing rapidly. What are we can we expect from the government to make sure that we remind Canadians that circulating your cash within our economy, coming home from Main Street, even if it might be a little more inconvenient in sort of the post-COVID times, is the right thing to do? So almost elevating our social conscience.
Well, main streets across our communities in Canada are the heart of our communities. I mean, what town or incredible community do you go into where you don't see that great little restaurant, that great little retail shop, that incredible craft store, the craft brewery? Like, I mean, so they are the hearts of our communities. And that is the point of what we have been trying to do, is to make sure that we are helping those businesses and those jobs and those workers as best as we can. And, the recovery or the restart is going to be done in a measured fashion. COVID-19 has hit some parts of the country harder than others. So you can see where different parts of the country may be doing something maybe a little quicker or not so quick, depending on their own experience. But I think everyone agrees that no one wants to lose the program.
Getting so conditioned to this sort of this world of online delivery. And I'm such an advocate for, especially as you said, the flair of Main Street. We need those restaurants and we need those retailers. We need people meandering up and down. I want to now move a little bit into the businesses that you think are going to do extremely well in Canada, because I'm looking at this world going forward and I'm going, there is an opportunity as we narrow our borders, maybe go a little less global and more continent, that we start looking at some of the things we want to make in Canada and create in Canada. Do you think there's an opportunity that our whole new economy could be accelerated because of what we're going through today?
Well, here's the thing that I know for sure, because I'm seeing it. I am seeing incredible ingenuity and resilience. And, entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs, business owners are business owners. I mean, you're not an entrepreneur or business owner if you don't have that sort of that fire in you to find a solution, take that idea and make something of it, take that idea and make something of it. It didn't work, so let me kind of go at it and let me pivot it. So I'll give you a really interesting example about sort of a Main Street example. It's heart of Atlantic Canada, small community, female entrepreneur, a bakery. So she has 5 employees, and of course she's had to shut down because of COVID-19. And but because she's had to shut down and saw her revenue decrease, she took advantage of the wage subsidy. Because she also is able to get the small business loan, took out the small business loan so she can pay her employees the additional 25%. So for all intents and purposes, those 5 employees were paid today what they were paid pre-COVID. But here's what actually happened to her bakery. The demand for her bread, like her little bakery locally, is loved, period. Like, yes, her doors are closed, but it's loved. So the demand for bread, and her bread in particular, her baked goods, is, like people were calling on the phone and people wanted that. So what has she done with some of that loan? She's reinvesting it. She's investing it to implement a online ordering system. So this is where she has her brick, but she's also now going to have a click. And the heart and the entrepreneurship of Canadian businesses is not to be underestimated.
I now want to end by talking about something that I think, one of the reasons I think you were given this rudder is your belief in female entrepreneurs and some of the goals that you have. I know by just doing these podcasts that I'm meeting some extraordinary people with intuition and insight and ideas. I call it head, heart, and hands. They get it, feel it, want it. Tell me what you're seeing in terms of the female entrepreneurs and how that might change, coming after this crisis that we're in right now?
Yeah, well, during COVID-19, I have been keeping my eyes very, very closely to those women entrepreneurs. Before COVID-19, and I still have this goal, and I'm going to reach this goal. But the Prime Minister gave me the mandate to double the number of female entrepreneurs in this country. It's the right thing to do, but here's the economic business case. We can add $150 billion to the Canadian economy just by having women participate in the Canadian economy. I have a $2 billion investment plan to help our Canadian women-led businesses be successful and to grow those businesses domestically as well as women in international trade. Because boy, oh boy, as you're meeting them, I'm meeting them. They are starting their companies, they are growing their companies, and they are creating jobs. So we're going to, so the job right now is making sure that they are supported through COVID-19, and then making sure that post, as we head into restart, that they are supported, in that restart, so that they continue to contribute to the Canadian economy.
Speaking to the Honourable Mary Ng, she's the Minister of Small Businesses, Export Promotion and International Trade. You came out a couple of days ago, and I thought it was a very honest comment saying we can't let racism become part of a culture like Canada, where we've always talked about being tolerant and celebrating diversity. I'd love you to share a little bit about what you were thinking there, because I really did feel it was from the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I grew up in this country all around me with friends and colleagues who come from all over the world, and it is the heart of Canada. It is who we are. We celebrate our diversity. It's what actually makes us competitive, and it's what makes us enviable around the world. And what I was starting to see, and what I am seeing, are instances of intolerant behavior, racist behavior, towards people who are of Asian background, and there's just no room for it. There's no room for it in Canada, and I think that for me and for others, you have to speak out a bit. You have to speak out against it when you see it, because we are better than this as a country. We celebrate our diversity. This month also happens to be Asian Heritage Month, where we're celebrating the accomplishments of Asian Canadians. So for me, as someone who came to this country, as a young girl, and just grew up with friends from that hail from all around the world, it's that celebration of diversity and that inclusiveness that makes you be so proud, and as a Canadian, but also feel just as proud to celebrate your cultural heritage. That's the story of Canada. That is what makes us so incredible. So that's what we have to defend, and we have to always defend that. So I had something to say about that, and I did.
I'm glad you did. So I just want to summarize what I learned. We talked a lot today, but the one word that came out so beating strong is heart. First of all, small business is the heart of the Canadian economy. Mary talked about going across and meeting people with lives and livelihood connected, families, their connections with employees. That has heart. Lots of money we're putting into Prime and try to take away some of the insecurity, because that's something that fear is not something we need, especially with our small business community. She also talked about the heart of women entrepreneurs, but we also have to recognize they can't do everything. That we have to, if they're going to be part of the drivers of the economy, we also have to make sure that there's a balanced workload, that things don't fall on their shoulders. It could be spread out among many. And then finally, what she talked about is really the heart of Canada. And I think the heart of Canada, the reason why red's in our flag, is it beats strong. Diversity, celebrating what we have with each other, being tolerant, bringing in first generation Canadians, and saying you have the same opportunity as anybody else. That's what makes Canada. Honourable Mary Ng, I'm so happy that you're doing what you're doing. I had no idea you had such passion till meeting with you, and I hope I can get you back on again.
I would love to. Thank you so much, Tony, for having me, and to all the businesses that are out there. I'm with you, and we're going to keep doing this together.
Small business matters. She's the one that's got her hand on the rudder. Feel good about it. We'll talk to you soon, and I'll be on that stage doing that roadshow when all this mess goes away.
Indeed, it'd be great.